Episode 8, The United States Enters World War I, From Isolation to Intervention. Introduction. In 1917, the United States, a country thousands of kilometers away from Europe's trenches, shocked the world. It entered World War I. But why did America, a nation built on isolation and avoiding European entanglements, suddenly dive into the deadliest war of its time? What weapons did it have? Who were its key commanders? How many lives did it lose? And what role did it play in the outcome of the war? Stay with us until the end of this episode. Not only will we answer all these questions, but we also have a special surprise for you. This is the story of a decision that changed both the war and the 20th century itself. America, before the war, neutrality and isolation. For most of its history, the U.S. followed a policy of isolationism, avoiding European wars and alliances. Even George Washington had warned against foreign entanglements. America was focused on internal growth, building industries, railroads, and expanding across its vast lands. President Woodrow Wilson believed the U.S. should be a moral example, not a participant in Europe's conflicts. In fact, his re-election campaign in 1916 carried the slogan, "He kept us out of war." But neutrality wasn't simple. America traded with both sides. But Britain's naval blockade made trade with Germany nearly impossible. By 1917, American banks had loaned over $2 billion to Britain and France, compared to just $27 million to Germany. Meanwhile, Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare and the infamous Zimmermann telegram were pushing the U.S. closer to war. The road to war. Several key events forced America's hand. 1. Unrestricted submarine warfare. German U-boats targeted Allied supply ships. In 1915, the sinking of the Lusitania killed 1,198 people, including 128 Americans. By early 1917, Germany resumed unrestricted submarine warfare, sinking American ships like the Housatonic and Algonquin. 2. The Zimmermann telegram. January 1917. British cryptographers intercepted a secret German message to Mexico. Germany promised Mexico that if it attacked the U.S., it could regain Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. When Wilson revealed this telegram, outrage spread across the U.S. 3. The final decision. On April 2nd, 1917, Wilson asked Congress for a declaration of war, declaring the world must be made safe for democracy. On April 6, 1917, the U.S. officially declared war on Germany. Mobilizing a nation. America transformed almost overnight. Manpower. Over 4.7 million Americans served. 2.8 million were drafted under the Selective Service Act. The Army included immigrants, African Americans, in segregated units, and volunteers. Women did not serve in combat, but over 30,000 worked as nurses, clerks, and telephone operators. The famous Hello Girls, even close to the front lines. Weapons and equipment. The standard rifle was the M1903 Springfield, based on the German Mauser design. Widespread use of machine guns and artillery. The U.S. began producing tanks in the final year of the war. American industry rapidly produced uniforms, helmets, trucks, and ships. The U.S. Navy escorted convoys across the Atlantic, fighting German submarines. The American Expeditionary Forces, AEF, commanded by General John J. Pershing insisted American forces fight as an independent army, not just reinforcements. By mid-1918, over 2 million American troops were in France. On the battlefield, American forces arrived at a critical moment. The Allies were exhausted, and Germany was launching its final offensives. Here's how U.S. troops made their mark. 1. The Battle of Cantigny, America's first major attack, May 28, 1918. Context: Germany's 1918 spring offensive had shaken the Allies. French commanders asked the Americans to prove themselves with a limited offensive. The target, the village of Cantigny. Forces: the 28th Infantry Regiment of the U.S. 1st Division, Big Red 1, under General Robert L. Bullard. Execution: at 6:45 a.m. on May 28th, after a massive artillery barrage, U.S. troops advanced behind a rolling barrage. In just 30 minutes, they captured Cantigny. German counterattacks. The Germans launched repeated counterattacks with heavy artillery. U.S. troops, aided by French flamethrower teams and artillery, held the line. Casualties: about 1,603 American casualties, including 318 killed. German losses were similar, with many prisoners taken. Significance: a tactical victory that proved Americans could plan, attack, and hold their ground, boosting Allied confidence. 2. Chateau Thierry and Belleau Wood, stopping the German advance, June 1918. Chateau Thierry. Context: in late May 1918, German forces advanced dangerously close to the Marne River, threatening Paris. Action: American units of the 2nd Division rushed in to reinforce French troops. In fierce fighting around Chateau Thierry, they blocked German attempts to cross the Marne. Result: the U.S. helped halt the German drive, preventing a possible capture of Paris. Belleau Wood, location and time: near Chateau Thierry, from June 1st, 26th, 1918. Forces: the 4th Marine Brigade, 5th and 6th Marine Regiments, part of the 2nd Division. Key leaders included James G. Harbord and Wendell C. Neville. Battle: Marines charged across wheat fields under heavy machine gun fire, storming German defenses inside the forest. Fighting devolved into brutal close-quarters combat. Rifles, bayonets, even fists. Famous quote: when urged to retreat, Captain Lloyd W. Williams replied, "Retreat? Hell, we just got here." End. After weeks of bloody assaults, the Marines finally secured Belleau Wood on June 26, 1918. The French renamed it Bois de la Brigade de Marine. Casualties: about 9,777 American casualties, including 1,811 dead. German losses were similar. Legacy: cemented the reputation of the U.S. Marines as fierce fighters. Germans allegedly nicknamed them Devil Dogs. 3. The Meuse-Argonne Offensive, America's largest operation. September 26th to November 11th, 1918. Context: part of the Allies' 100 Days Offensive to end the war. The goal: break German defenses in the Meuse-Argonne region and cut vital rail lines. Scale: over 1.2 million American soldiers took part. The largest U.S. operation of the war. Supported by tanks, artillery, and aircraft. Execution: began with a massive artillery bombardment on September 26, 1918. Troops pushed into dense forests, hills, and heavily fortified German positions. Progress was slow and costly. Key moments: capture of Montfaucon, though at high cost. Constant supply and logistics problems for U.S. troops. German defenses eventually collapsed under relentless pressure. Casualties: over 26,000 Americans killed and 120,000 total casualties. The deadliest battle in U.S. history. Outcome: helped force Germany into seeking an armistice. When the guns fell silent on November 11th, 1918, the U.S. had proven itself as a decisive military power. The human cost, in total, 116,000 Americans killed, 204,000 wounded. Though U.S. involvement was shorter, the sacrifice was immense. The impact of U.S. entry. Fresh troops. By mid-1918, 10,000 new American soldiers were arriving daily. Economic power. U.S. banks and industry sustained the Allies. Morale. America's presence gave hope to exhausted French and British troops. Turning point. For Germany, U.S. entry signaled the beginning of the end. If America had stayed out, the Allies might have collapsed under Germany's 1918 offensive. A negotiated peace could have left Germany dominant in Europe. Instead, with America's help, victory was assured. After the war, America transformed. Before the war, America was a giant in isolation. After the war, it was a global power. Wilson introduced his 14 points and pushed for the League of Nations. But at home, isolationist sentiment persisted. The Senate refused to join the League. Still, the U.S. had changed forever, now an economic and military superpower. Wilson declared, "America does not fight for conquest, but to establish a new order of peace and justice." Conclusion: why did the U.S. enter the war? Key reasons: German submarine attacks on civilians, the Zimmermann telegram conspiracy, economic and political ties with the Allies, belief that America had a role in shaping global peace. U.S. entry was the final turning point that guaranteed the defeat of the Central Powers. Surprise for viewers. Here's the promised surprise. In the next episode, we'll explore the end of World War I, armistice and aftermath. But it won't just be about treaties and leaders. We'll uncover rarely heard personal stories of soldiers and civilians that textbooks often leave out. So if you want both the big picture and the hidden human stories, don't miss episode 9. Like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be the first to see the Armistice episode.